My past in public speaking is very strong because in high school I took a class that was only for public speaking. One of the things we had to do was an elevator speech where they gave us a topic to talk about for 30 seconds right then, and we had to talk in front of everyone and describe to them what it was about and why you had to do it. Another thing we had to do was memorize someone else's speech and say it to the class. And what I did was I did the miracle speech from the movie, Herb Brooks' speech before the final game. This made me really understand why memorizing something is so difficult and how you should do it in the future. Another thing we had to do was write our own speech, and we had to write our own speech about anything we wanted. This helped me very much because for graduation and any other thing I had to talk in front of, it made it a lot easier. One of the big things I realized about talking publicly is to control your breathing. Just like in football, when you go out and it's your turn to make a play, you got to stay calm and relax and do what you know how to do best. So when I get up to speak, I take a deep breath, talk slow, and breathe calmly and take short breaths. This overall helps me because no matter what happens, I can still think on the spot and not be all panicked. Another thing I realized that really helps when you're public speaking is to have a podium in front of you or an object in front of you that you can hold on to and not be caught fidgeting and moving side to side and getting distracted very easily. When I did my speeches in front of the entire class, we had a podium with a microphone, so we didn't have to worry about projecting our voice as much, and we could really focus on giving the speech. By far, one of the hardest projects I did in high school with public speaking was in my English class when we had to memorize 15 lines from Shakespeare. This was difficult because it wasn't in the language that we use nowadays. It was from old language, and memorizing those lines were very tricky. The biggest key to memorizing those lines was to think of a pattern and try and make it rhyme in your head. This really helped because I didn't have to worry about getting everything word for word when it just happens like a pattern, like a song or a rhythm. Overall, that speech went very well, and we had a note card, but I didn't even have to use it. Lastly, I realized how important public speaking really is, because no matter what job you have in the future or what your future holds, being able to communicate with people is something that is very important and can even make a difference between you making a job and not getting the job. This can change your outcome of life because if you don't have a job, you won't have a lot of money. And if you don't know how to speak to someone appropriately, then they will think you're childish and not know if they can trust you with a real job and put their job in the hands of you. So overall, the course I took in high school paid off a lot because it made me realize how important public speaking is. And no matter what happens, just control your breathing and everything will work out fine.